These are the top 30 most badass Superman scenes in the movies.
36 beer. No. Hotel down.
To kick things off, James Gunn shows us that our boy can spin. I know a lot of people complained about this version of Superman being weaker than the previous ones, but apart from Ultraman, who's a literal clone of Kal-El, there's nobody who really made him sweat. Anyway, over here, Superman bounces back from a series of blows courtesy of Ultraman and Lex Luthor, who's easily the greatest comic book hater I've ever seen. No, seriously, this is generational level hating. Side note, do check out the French dub of the A1 scene, it's freaking hilarious. No, seriously, that dude was genuinely taking on Superman with all his research and strategies like a passionate gamer. Anyway, none of that mattered as soon as good boy Krypto came in and took away Ultraman's instruction manual. It was relatively easy for Clark to flex after that, as he dominated the fight quite easily from that point onwards, apart from a slight awkward finish towards the end. Anyway, the highlight is easily when he takes down all the Raptors with his spinning kick. Our boy went even a step further by adding his laser beams to it too. Wanna know what's even more badass? He made sure to regulate his power levels over here to avoid taking anyone's life. Say what you will, but the man is an absolute gem of a superhero.
Get the toy.
30. Oh, the stupid dog. Charlie down.
Okay, next is an instance of doing damage and also damage control. Superman's powers are no joke, and while he doesn't fight the kaiju with any intention of ending it, we do see him flex quite a bit. There's the part where he tries his best to convince a dog to leave the scene while resisting the entire weight of the monster, eventually leading to a light usage of his super breath. The main part that got me was when he landed a punch on the kaiju and instantly flew behind it to make sure the people in the building were safe. The dude literally saved his opponent from having to bear the full brunt of his own attack. Now that takes a lot of skill, which was quite evident in the way Kal-El dealt with the kaiju. Yes, there's the part where he smacks it with the water tower and saves a squirrel too, but they're more like adornments considering what I explained earlier. Also, I know this has nothing to do with Superman, but Guy Gardner messing with the kaiju's eye was funny AF. Who would have known he'd been a funnier Green Lantern than Ryan Reynolds? In at number 25 is an example of Superman showing us why he's the perfect boyfriend. Yeah, I'm well aware of how much fun the internet was making of that one image where it looks as though Superman is handing Lois over to the cops. However, the two of them have a pretty strong relationship marked mostly by trust. I mean, just look at the sequence where Lois is being held hostage by a terrorist when Superman shows up. She's so certain that her lover boy won't let her get hurt that she confidently signals him to do as he pleases. The result is an epic save, but I still need Zack Snyder to tell me if that clueless criminal survived an attack from the freaking Man of Steel. Well, at least it was romantic, right?
You will see the inside of her head.
Up next is when you defeat yourself in the most bizarre of circumstances. Superman 3 is by no means a masterpiece. And I'm pretty sure even Christopher Reeves would have to agree with us, God rest his soul. However, Clark Kent versus evil Superman was the most entertaining aspect of this movie. I love how Clark was able to win despite looking so goofy and aloof for most of the fight. There's no greater enemy than facing your own demons, and this particular scene was pretty much the embodiment of that statement. The main thing is that good triumphed over evil, and beating yourself does have a nice ring to it. Who knows, maybe this was the battle that inspired Gunn to make Ultraman Kal-El's main opponent in his film. Alright, now we've got the Man of Steel showing us all of his powers in one cool sequence. This won't be the last time we're going to see Superman Returns because there's a lot to this movie that people didn't appreciate back in the day. Anyway, in this sequence, Kal-El has to save the Daily Planet and pretty much everybody else within and around it too. Whilst doing so, he lets us see a whole range of skills that he possesses, just in case we forgot how awesome he really is. I'm talking super strength, super speed, flight, super hearing, X-ray vision, super breath, laser eyes, you name it, and he's got it. Our man's really confident and self-assured, exuding control over his powers and capabilities, which essentially means he's a lot more mature and powerful as compared to the other versions of the character we've seen so far. My favourite moment has got to be when he catches the globe towards the end of the sequence, because nothing says, "I've got this," like holding a massive sphere and calmly descending to make sure there's no accidental damage. Next in line is Superman up against a black hole. No, this is not a drill. Kal-El was actually going to get sucked into a freaking black hole, which isn't exactly a walk in the park to get out of. And do you know how he managed to evade an otherwise horrendous fate? He used his super breath to repel himself from it and save the others in the process too. Now, I'm not a scholar or a scientist, but I do know that black holes are insanely powerful, and if you happen to be anywhere near one, then you might as well say your prayers. Not Superman though, as he made the escape look super easy. And yeah, he's not even at full power here, because he hasn't recovered from the kryptonite poisoning from earlier on. Plus, he has Metamorpho's kid to look out for as well, so once again, in the face of extreme danger and obstacles, Clark Kent emerges victorious. And yeah, I could see that James Gunn wasn't afraid to do the whole slow motion gimmick too. Maybe he called Zack Snyder during the shoot to ask for some tips on how to make it look cool. At number 21, we've got the Man of Steel lifting a whole island in the second entry from Superman Returns. What's really special about this moment is that he's actually severely weakened by kryptonite, and he still manages to achieve something that the other Supermen may have had a hard time with even at full strength. I mean, it's a freaking island, isn't it? Not a ship or a plane, a whole landmass capable of supporting a civilization. And he doesn't just lift it as if he's trying to compete with Arnold Schwarzenegger in some weightlifting competition. He flies all the way to freaking space and throws the island away. Are you understanding how big of a deal that really is? People complained a lot about Superman Returns not being as exciting as the original Christopher Reeves films, well, at least not the first or the second of the movies, but look, the point remains that Brandon Routh may have given us one of Superman's most overpowered moments of all time, if not the most. Man, I honestly don't see how anyone can top this, because that's not one shard of kryptonite either, it's a whole island full of it. Yeah, forget about Henry Cavill or David Corenswet, Brandon Routh should be the standard for us all. One of the perks of having god-level powers is that you can dominate an entire team of superheroes without even using 20% of your strength. Take this example of Superman against the whole Justice League. To be honest, it feels more like a humiliation of the League rather than a celebration of Kal-El's powers. Like, nobody could even compete with the dude despite all of them charging at him in unison. It's almost as if Clark Kent is the level 100 boss, Wonder Woman is the level 80 secretary, Aquaman is some random level 50 opponent, Batman is a level 2 crook. My favourite moment from this sequence has got to be when Superman follows Flash with his eyes. That must have been creepy AF to the speedster, and the fact that Kal-El managed to land a strike on him was pretty impressive too. The only person able to make some kind of impact was Wonder Woman, but I suppose that's because Clark must have been distracted by the sight of Gal Gadot in that costume. But yeah, the true highlight was when Bruce Wayne had Karma circle back on him real quick. Yeah, asking that question back in the previous movie doesn't feel too cool now, does it, Batman? Normally, when Superman shows up, the good guys celebrate with joy. In this case though, not so much. Although I do have to admit that there are villains like the Joker and Amber Heard also in the mix. The main reason why this scene makes it to the list is because of how everyone pisses their pants when evil Superman shows up. Mind you, this isn't Omni-Man or Homelander, it's the real Superman who's become evil. So we're not dealing with a small fry. Sure, everyone prepares for battle except the Joker, who's just standing there and laughing almost as if he's accepted his fate. But yeah, that angry face coupled coupled with those laser eyes would make anyone want to wave the white flag. The power association with this character has become so obvious that you don't need a single word to describe his presence. These superheroes fear him when he's evil because they know exactly how powerful he was when he was good, and usually when you're good, you don't go berserk. One thing I do need to ask though is where the heck is Mira doing standing there with a spear looking brave? What's she gonna do with that weapon? Shave his beard? Oh wait, maybe she'll poop in his bed.
God!
Performance issues are the eternal curse of the male species. It's just like Iron Man said all the way back in the first Avengers movie. It's 1 out of every 3 men.
When they're so busy fighting you.
And Superman had to deal with it in 1980 when he got bullied inside a diner. Luckily, when he did get his powers back, he could stand up to his bully in style. Now that I look back at this scene, it's actually...
This order's to go.
It's been a while since anyone's made the world this nervous. Black Adam.
Who would have thought that the last time we'd get to see Henry Cavill as Superman would be in a post-credits cameo in Black Adam? Well, the world works in mysterious ways, and we should also remember his appearance in the Shazam post-credit scene as well, so it shouldn't have come as much of a surprise. Having said that, it sure felt surreal to see 2 stalwarts facing each other, almost as if they were teasing us for an epic battle. Of course, we all knew that wasn't going to happen, because by this time, James Gunn had taken over, and the DCEU was effectively a thing of the past. Now, the scene is really short, and Superman is there for all of maybe 5 business seconds, but the impact this created actually led some fans to believe that Cavill would stay on as the Man of Steel. Unfortunately, Black Adam didn't make as much money at the box office as the execs were hoping for, so these dreams were squashed before they could develop any further. On a side note, who do you think would win in an arm wrestling competition between Dwayne Johnson and Henry Cavill? Let me know in the comments below.
Black Adam. We should talk.
You can praise Bruce Wayne all you want for trying to act brave in front of an indestructible god, but the point of the matter is that if Superman wanted it, he would crush the mortal billionaire to tiny pieces without even flinching. The mercy shown here is pretty badass, because once again, Superman doesn't want to end up taking a life like he did with Zod. The part where the Batmobile drifts in front of the Man of Steel is pretty epic if you consider all the slow motion effects tied into it, and the way Superman casually deflects it like a little toy totally cemented his dominance. It's like bro is that one tree in every racing game that wrecks your ride and just ruins your lap time. The seriousness of his tone may be understated, but it's most definitely there. You can tell he's fed up of all the unnecessary hate he's getting from Bruce Wayne, but sadly, there's no room for kindness in this ruthless world. I mean, Batman didn't even return the favor to Kal-El. Normally, people aren't known to repay mercy with a kryptonite grenade to the freaking face. Talk about ungrateful, right?
We, as a population on this planet, have been looking for a savior. 90% of people believe in a higher power, and every religion believes in some sort of messianic figure.
What better way to kick off my top 10 than to have people actually talking about Superman being a god amongst men? This sequence actually has multiple flexes, with all of them showcasing the Man of Steel saving people from disaster. However, the one that stands out the most to me is when he drags a massive freaking ship across ice as if he's plowing a field or something. I know this guy is strong, but it hits different when you actually see it in action. Even when he saves the rocket crew from the explosion, it doesn't seem like he's using all of his strength. Plus, if Neil deGrasse Tyson is speaking in your favor, even science is on your side. However, if we were to choose a scene that perfectly encapsulates Superman's persona, it's when that lady on top of the house reaches out to him like he's her lord and savior. It's one of the images that always flashes in my mind when I think of superheroes in general. Zack Snyder had a lot of gorgeous cinematic moments, and this is the cream of the crop.
If we have to start thinking beyond politics.
Are there any moral constraints on this person? We have international law.
If Henry Cavill can drag a ship, then Brandon Routh can lift one. No Superman list is complete without me mentioning Superman Returns, because this movie has been in the dark for way too long. People seem to have started to show their appreciation towards great films of the past, so it becomes my responsibility to tell them that that was a super mature movie that was ahead of its time. Superman is obviously super strong, as can be seen here, where he lifts an entire ship all by himself without really breaking a sweat. However, his true strength is seen when he allows Richard to take his family to safety. The fact that Lois Lane was Richard's wife and the mother of his kid only put the Man of Steel in a better light because he is pure of heart. He doesn't emasculate Richard or mock him, even though he knows very well the massive differences in their levels. What's important is safety, and that's exactly what Kal-El stands for. Ah yes, the infamous Doomsday fight lands at number 7 on this list. I would have actually placed it a bit higher if the Man of Steel actually ended up surviving this. I mean, it's always more badass if you're still alive at the end of the flex. The importance of this sacrifice can't be understated at all, because that was literally the only way to end Doomsday. Thanks to Batman taking up Superman's precious time with that completely pointless battle earlier on, Lex Luthor had enough time to put his evil plan into motion. Even with the support of Wonder Woman and the escape tactics of Bruce Wayne, there wasn't much that Superman could do here. Even his heat vision couldn't match the level of a nuked up Doomsday. Zack Snyder might not have gotten this movie right, but he did get the ending of the battle perfectly, with the dramatic music and ominous visuals blasting into the audience. The most badass aspect about the whole thing was obviously seeing Superman fighting hard against the Kryptonite spear and managing to muster enough strength to land a direct hit. Brandon Routh finds his way again in a scene that's probably remained the most popular moment from this film. The bullet to the eye scene was a perfect way to shower praises upon the Man of Steel. We all know that he's fast enough to stop the bullet, but he still allows the goon to shoot his shot because he probably thought it would be a little bit funny. Imagine flexing so hard that you don't even have to say a word and just stand there. Everything else happening around Superman eventually led him to giving us this memorable moment, so I think we should spare a thought for the poor goon because he clearly didn't know who he was up against. If I was in his place, I'd have surrendered the moment I saw that blue suit. You know, I really wish they recreated this scene in the modern era, but now with Henry Cavill gone, I don't know if anyone else is good enough to step in for it. Brandon Routh is really cashing in towards the end of this list, isn't he? Then again, there are so many epic saves in this film that it would be a crime for me not to include them. Take the airplane scene, for example. Only a fool wouldn't include it in his top 5. Let me remind you that this isn't just a plane, also a rocket that the Man of Steel dismounts from the aircraft and then guides into space. After that, he moves towards the primary target and saves everyone while also getting them the best view at a baseball game. Remember when Homelander said he couldn't save the plane in season 1 of The Boys? Yep, it immediately reminded me of this scene and what a real hero could do. Bro even gives a public safety announcement about flying after doing the most Superman thing on the planet. Also, how Lois survived so many years without Clark Kent will always remain a mystery to me. That woman always finds herself in the middle of some dragon level threat. All it takes is one bad day to change everything. That's pretty much what happens in this horrific vision that Cyborg witnesses. Losing Lois Lane and his unborn child would have done the worst possible number on Superman, and as luck would have it, the only one who's there for him happens to be Darkseid. What follows after may not have been shown in detail, but the implications are more than enough for us to realize that Kal-El has just gone on a killing spree and ended pretty much everyone in his path. The way he tosses the Batman head aside as if he's a toy he doesn't want to play with anymore totally sent chills down my spine. Also, now it makes sense as to why Cyborg's system attacked Superman upon seeing him. The Vision made it label the Man of Steel as a threat. It's kind of funny to see the first scene from the OG flick as late as number 3, but then again, such films aren't really meant to be put in the lower half of the list, are they? This scene has Superman doing in 1978 what the Flash did in 2021. Reversing time always seems to do the job when it comes to saving lives, and in this case, the lucky girl is Lois Lane once again. Damn it, how clumsy can a girl be? No wonder superheroes need to save them all the time. Of course, the time reversal is a supreme flex, but I also want to point out the rage scream Christopher Reeves lets out when he flies into the sky. That was deadly. It would have probably made even Doomsday question himself. The fact that the next voice we hear is Marlon Brando, aka the freaking Godfather, only adds further impact to an already epic moment.
It is forbidden for you to interfere in human business.
One thing I do know, son, and that is you are here for a reason.
Not impressed.
Imagine being the head of Warner Brothers and thinking, nah, the fans don't want to see this in the cinema halls. Yeah, they sure got that one wrong, because this is the best possible entrance Superman could have ever had in the Justice League. The casual manner in which he takes a direct hit from Steppenwolf only to free smash his battle axe and then kick him away like unworthy filth was badass to the B. The thrashing he hands out right after would only reaffirm what we already knew for so long: there's no one like Superman. It's kind of funny when Kal-El said he wasn't impressed, because his fans sure were. Steppenwolf, on the other hand, was basically depressed. Bro didn't have a single thing going his way after this moment.
Easy, miss. I've got you.
You've got me! Who's got you?
I did just mention how odd it was for the OG Superman film to only have its first entry at number 3, but now that it's taken the top spot, I suppose it's more than done enough to redeem itself. The first appearance of the Man of Steel had to be dramatic, and of course had to involve Lois Lane once again in danger, and it sure worked with audiences all over the world. Lifting the chopper with one hand while carrying Lois with the other was probably the ultimate riz you could pull on a girl back in the 70s. Nowadays, it's just TikTok followers and Instagram likes. Hey, you know who else would have been a huge fan of this scene? Arnold Schwarzenegger, that's who. Superman did just save his favourite vehicle after all. Hope you liked the video. Please subscribe to the TV Regent, and here's another video that I know you're going to enjoy.